Hi everyone, welcome back to our channel. I hope you all are doing amazing. Now in this video, I am going to be listing 28 base makeup mistakes that I've seen many people doing, which I myself have done in the past. I'm going to be listing all those for you today. And along with that, I'll be giving you an alternative tip, trick or a technique that will help you rectify these mistakes. So after this video, your base makeup is going to look bomb and be ready to receive so many compliments. Okay, so now without any further ado, let's begin. Mistake number one is not exfoliating your skin properly. Now you'll be thinking, she told that it is a base makeup mistake video. Why is she bringing skincare here? If you think that way, listen me out. Okay, so one of my favorite creators called Megha Mukherjee always says this, and I swear by it as well. The first step in your makeup routine is not makeup, it is skincare. So when you take good care of your skin, like exfoliating it properly, hydrating and protecting it properly, your makeup will apply smoothly. Your skincare majorly influence your skin health. It also indirectly influence how your makeup looks on your skin. If you don't exfoliate properly, your skin will look rough and textured a bit. So the makeup will not apply smoothly on top of it, and it may also look patchy in some instances. So always make sure to exfoliate your skin regularly so that your foundation applies very smoothly. I personally use BHA, which is salicylic acid, 2 times per week, and AHA like 1 time a week. So that is my exfoliation routine. If you would love me to do an in-depth video on exfoliation, be it chemical or physical, please let me know in the comments. I would love to do it for you. Mistake number 2, starting your makeup on a very dirty full face, if I may say so. Like see, now I have cleansed my skin when I took shower. Okay, so now it's been around 1 hour or so since I washed my face. Okay, there will be some accumulation of dirt and there will be little bit of sebum production. Now I will not go ahead and apply my makeup directly on top of it, because the skin has already got some settlements on it. On top of it, when I apply my makeup, my pores are gonna get clogged. Okay, and it may end up in melia or pimple or so on. One more thing is that your makeup will slip and slide away. It will not last longer if you apply it on a dirty canvas. So these two are the reasons why you should always start with a face wash. Okay, so I'm gonna quickly go wash my face and I'll be right back, because here if I do it, it'll get messy and I'm not ready for it. So yeah, now that my face is nice, washed and clean, it is ready for the next step that is gonna come. Okay, now mistake number 3 is applying too much skincare. This is again a mistake I've seen many people doing. Like when you're doing your makeup, you don't need to have that 7-step Korean skincare routine or whatsoever. If you are applying your makeup in the daytime, have a moisturizer or a serum and a sunscreen. That is very much enough. If you are doing it in the nighttime, do a moisturizer and then go in with your primer or a setting mist or whatever. Okay, you don't need to apply too many layers, which will again end up in your makeup slipping and sliding away, not lasting very long. Sometimes when you apply a lot of moisturizer or a serum or sunscreen, if it is staying on top of your skin without getting absorbed, chances are higher that when you blend your foundation or concealer, it is going to get mixed with that skincare product, and it will also feel very sticky and heavy. So make sure to apply very minimal amount of skincare products. Okay, keep the layers minimal, like 1 or 2, and also even in those 1 or 2 layers, apply your products very minimally. Okay, I'm going to be using a moisturizer today. This is from Foxtail. It's their nourishing moisturizer. Okay, so one more tip I would give is try to go in for a niacinamide based product when you're starting with your makeup, because niacinamide will help your skin regulate the sebum, which will ensure that your foundation is not oxidizing due to the natural oil, and also your makeup will stay oil free. Like these are not proven, but chances are there that it can. Okay, so I'm just taking little bit of that moisturizer and I'm going to massage it onto my skin. I'm using the same moisturizer to hydrate my under eyes as well. You can use an under eye cream also. Now, in rare cases, if your skin is extremely dry and flaky, just add a hyaluronic acid or a PGA based serum or an essence. Okay, so yeah, that is exceptional. If your skin is extremely dry and flaky, you can go for that. Now it's time for mistake number 4, which is not letting your skincare absorb into your skin completely. Now when you freshly apply your moisturizer, it is still on top of your skin getting absorbed. The process is ongoing. Like when you apply the makeup right away, again it will form a mixture of skincare and makeup product being sticky and all that. Okay, so always let your skincare seep into your skin. Let your moisturizer hydrate and moisturize your skin. Okay, so before, if you have seen the before applying this moisturizer, you would have found my skin a little bit on the drier side. Now you can see it is a bit more hydrated. Okay, so let your moisturizer soak in and hydrate your skin. After that, start with your priming or whatever. Okay, let's move on to mistake number 5. It is choosing the wrong primer. Now I've seen many people doing this also. People only consider their skin type when they are choosing a primer. It is not that way. Skin type has to be considered 50%, while the other 50% should be your skin concern and your makeup concern. Okay, now what is your skin concern? Whether your skin have texture or pores or fine lines, those are called your skin concern. And what is makeup concern? Whether your makeup gets oily very easily or whether it gets worn off very easily, those are your makeup concern. So I'm going to take myself as an example and tell how I chose my primers. Okay, my skin type is combination skin, so which means my T-zone is on the oilier side, rest of my face is normal or dry. Okay, now what primer should I use? No one can tell that, because combination skin is a puzzle which is yet to be solved, right? So now there are no primers that are dedicated for combination skin, so we are going to let that slide, and let's skin type is okay. Next, come to my skin concern. I have pore issues. Okay, so I do have a little bit of pore here, and I do have blackheads and whiteheads which will look textured on top when I apply makeup. Okay, so and I also have fine lines under my eyes, so the concealer and all gets creased a lot easier, and again it looks textured. Okay, so these are my skin concern. Okay, so what should I do? I should use something that will blur and smooth these. Okay, so what are the options I have? We have a lot of options in the market, like they all say blurring, smoothing and all those. Okay, since my skin type is combination, which means my T-zone is going to be on the oily side, so I am going to be using a silicone based primer, which is not a hydrating primer and all that. It is just simple silicone based blurring primer. Okay, so this will help me to blur my skin, and at the same time it is not hydrating or dewy, so that my skin, like my makeup, will not look oily or dewy. Whereas if I have dry skin with the same skin concern, I would go in for a hydrating blurring primer. Okay? And nextly, one more concern I have is my facial hair. Okay, so I don't religiously remove my facial hair as such. I do have facial hair here and there, and even if I do, I just remove my mustache and eyebrow. That's it. Okay, so what will happen is, when I apply makeup on top of these facial hair, the makeup will cling on to those facial hair. It will look a little bit of odd. Okay, and also sometimes what will happen when I sweat is the place where I have a lot of facial hair will get patchy and makeup will wear off very easily. And for this reason, I am using a gripping primer. This is from Mars. It's their gripping primer. So what a gripping primer will do is, gripping primers are very sticky in nature. Okay, so when you apply it, your facial hair will get tamed down, like your facial hair will get stuck onto your skin. Okay, so facial hair is going to get tamed down first, and next, because of the facial hair, my makeup is wearing off. This primer is very sticky in nature, which will make my makeup adhere onto my skin very well. So my makeup concern is getting cured here. So always consider your skin type partially, and also consider your skin concern and makeup concern while you're choosing your primer. Okay, So now on to the mistake number 6. This is something which doesn't make sense. More than calling it a mistake, this doesn't make any sense to me. Like going vice versa with your primer and foundation. Now I have seen people using a primer that will give them dewy finish, and then going in for a foundation that will give them matte finish. Why would you do that? Like if you want a matte finish, go in for a primer that will also give you a matte finish, like, because both of these formulations will have different ingredients and both will not go smoothly on top of your skin. So always make sure that you're going in the same direction. Like if you want your makeup to be dewy, go in for dewy products. If you want your makeup to be matte, go in for matte based products. And if you want your makeup to be natural finish, go in for products that will give you soft matte, semi matte sort of a finish. Okay, these priming or prepping your skin in a way that it will look dewy, and then with makeup completely making it matte is not something that is going to work. Like you are literally doing two things, like two opposite things in one routine, which is many times it may go against your will. Mistake number 7, it is again something which I've mentioned in the past about skincare, like not waiting till your skincare is getting observed. Now a lot of people do the same thing with primer. Okay, so when you apply primer, the primary purpose of it is to smoothen your canvas and settle in. Okay, and then only you need to start applying your foundation and all that. If you're not giving time for the primer to set in, again the primer is not going to perform its job really well. It is going to get mixed with foundation or concealer and make your makeup a little bit sticky, not staying in place, wearing off very easily. So always ensure to give your primer some time to settle in. And like these primers now, even you can experience it, like these primers, the gripping one, this one, and also the elf one, will, when you apply it freshly, there won't be any sticky or grippy feeling. Okay, but once it gets settled down, it will give you that gripping or sticky feel. Okay, so that's how primers also work. You have to give any product to set and do its magic. You can't be very impatient with makeup, especially. Mistake number 8, applying too much orange corrector. Now I don't understand why people do that. Like I have seen people who has got lesser hyperpigmentation than I do but apply more orange corrector than I do. Like you don't have to. You have to apply orange corrector in a quantity, and also the shade has to be right. Okay, so if you are someone who has 3 to 4 shades darker pigmentation on your skin, you can use an orange corrector. But if the pigmentation or anything is lighter than that, you can very simply even your skin tone with a foundation or a concealer. Okay, and if you're fair, go in for a peach corrector. But if the peach corrector is still not working, then you can move in with an orange corrector. But if you're deep or dusky, then use an orange corrector directly. If this is not working, go in for a reddish orange corrector, which is there in LA Girl. Okay, so my pigmentation is 3 to 4 shades darker, and an orange corrector works very fine for me, so I'm going to be using it. Now here you also, as the mistake says, you have to consider the quantity that you are going to use. Okay, dot on your inner corners, because that is where the dark circles are its darkest. So always start with your inner corner, and then dot a little bit. Okay, wherever you have pigmentation, just dot this much. Okay, and also since my skin is saturated with melanin, I can do this much. But if you are from dusky or fair skin, don't go in for this much also. You have to be very mindful about how much you use. Okay, so you have to use lesser than what it is. And while you are blending out, don't blend it across like this, because you have applied it to counteract the pigmentation. If you are like working this particular amount across your entire face, there is no point of color correcting. Only you want the orange corrector to be in specific areas to counteract your pigmentation. So while you are blending it, press in the orange corrector on the areas where you have pigmentation. Don't blend it out and spread. Okay, so that is again a mistake. Now can you see? You can see a little bit of orange. Of course it has to be there to counteract the bluishness of my pigmentation, but it is not over the top. Like I don't need to use extra products to just conceal this orange character. So this much is very much enough. Okay, now mistake number 9 is not properly, you know, dampening your beauty blender. Now I've seen many people using beauty blenders very wet and also telling that the product is getting absorbed by this one a lot, but you know, the truth can be the blender is not drained properly. So what you have to do is wet the beauty blender under the running tap water or in a bowl of water. Just press and get rid of the excess water, okay? And after that, wrap it in a towel and, you know, press it gently, and you have to like take it near the ear and press it, okay? There shouldn't be any noise like the watery noise. There should be like noises that will be caused by air, okay? So I don't know how to explain that, but I'll try to show. Like, are you able to hear? You should feel the sound of air but not water. And also when you tightly hold, your hands should not get wet. That's the right you know, amount of wetness for a beauty blender. Otherwise it will absorb product a lot, which is waste, like product waste, okay? And mistake number 10, this is like my favorite mistake, I have to say. Like, I've seen many people applying way too much of foundation than what is actually needed, okay? I have to also say that the buildable coverage is actually a myth, a marketing gimmick, because you know, when a foundation is sheer in coverage, no matter how much you build it up, it is going to give you sheer coverage only. But if you want high coverage, go in for products that would give you higher coverage, okay? Buildable coverage is a myth, guys. Like, when you build it up till the highest coverage that it can give, your makeup is going to turn very patchy. So always make sure to kind of you know what is your coverage preference. If you have sheer coverage preference, go for products that will give you sheer coverage. If you have medium coverage preference, go for products that will give you medium coverage. If you have high coverage preference, go for products that will give you high coverage than building up products that are meant to give you sheer or medium coverage, okay? Because your makeup is going to turn patchy for real, okay? So yeah, I'm going to apply the foundation and I'm going to be showing you how much you can actually apply, okay? Take like any foundation, like 1 or 2 pump is the maximum that you can apply. More than that is going to give you patchy and cakey finish, okay? Just take your foundation. I am someone, I go in for half a pump to one pump, or maximum 1.5 pump, not more than that. That much is enough, okay? Like, maybe when you are posing for a camera, so much of foundation may look bearable, but in real life it does not. So always make sure to use little bit of foundation. I have taken 1 pump and I'm going to dot it all across my face. Now mistake number 12 is you know, not distributing your foundation equally before starting to blend it out, okay? So now I've seen a lot of people, now I can't call it a mistake, different people have different techniques, and whatever works for people, that is fine. But you know what will happen is when you pick your product with a beauty blender or a brush, and when you start working in sections, chances are higher that you will use so much of product on one side and the other side will have very less product. But when you pick the foundation with your finger and dot it and spread it evenly across your face before blending, then the chances are very low that you know, certain places will have higher foundation and certain places will have lower foundation. That will not happen, okay? So that is why I don't prefer the method of you know, picking the foundation with a beauty blender or a brush and then you know, blending the foundation. And I, in fact, as I showed, I like to kind of you know, spread using my fingers and then smoothen it out using a foundation brush or a blender, okay? That's, and mistake number 12, okay, I have seen many people doing it, is ignoring corners, okay? This you can't do, guys. Like, it will look extremely odd, okay? It is going to look so odd that you are going to feel very embarrassed. I'm sorry to say that, but this is such an embarrassing mistake, okay? Is ignoring the corners of your nose. Like, if at all you feel that your corners are left alone, take a little bit more of foundation and apply it over here and also here. This place again there is a depth, no, so a lot of people kind of miss out on that area as well. So always make sure to give special concentration to these areas and blend. Hold your nose like this and then blend it out. Don't miss. Even when you are powdering, you have to like powder it by holding here. Okay, mistake number 13 is letting your concealer sit for so long before blending it. Now I know that trend of letting your concealer sit in for 10 seconds, but there are people who tell that you should let your concealer sit for more than what you call like 1 minute or so, which is absolutely unnecessary. Even if you are letting your concealer to sit for 10 minutes, it's going to get a little bit thicker. Okay, and especially if you have under eyes which has got fine lines or so, it is going to make your under eyes look very, how to say, patchy or so. Because if you have fine lines, the best tip would be to use concealers that are thin. Okay, and when you buy a thin concealer, let it sit and become thick, and then you are blending out, then there is no point, right? Like if you have this, is especially something that applies to people with fine lines. Don't let your concealer sit for too long so that it gets thick, and if it gets thick, then you are going to face some patchiness issue. Okay, this applies to people who have fine lines and wrinkles under their eyes. Okay, and mistake number 14 is going to be about your highlighting concealer. Now look at these two shades. Okay, look at these two shades. Now tell me which one is the right highlighting concealer for my skin tone. I know a lot of people will be thinking like I should use a white or a light concealer to highlight my face. It is not the case, guys. Like, you don't need to like look at the difference that my skin tone and this has got. Okay, this is going to make my skin look ashy after completing my makeup. So your highlighting concealer has to be 1 or 2 shades lighter than your actual skin tone. So this could be a good highlighting shade for people who are actually in the fair spectrum, not for someone who is like me. So always use a highlighting concealer that is not too light for your skin. This is because people are like wanting very bright under eyes, and going for these kind of shades is not going to look good in person. So always, even in camera, it won't look that great. So always go in for concealers that are 1 or 2 shades lighter for highlighting purpose. Okay, so I'm using this Maybelline concealer in shade 50 Cafe. Now can you see, it is the perfect highlight shade. Okay, whereas can you see this one, how light it is? This is going to turn my makeup ashy. Okay, no matter how much of orange corrector you use, if you are going to apply an highlighting shade that is that lighter, your skin is going to like look bit ashy. Okay, I will blend and you will be able to see how it kind of beautifully merges into my skin, but also highlights my skin. Okay, that is what we want. Okay, we don't need our highlighting concealer to be like, hi, I'm here. We don't need that. We want it to be like, hi, I'm here, but you won't be able to see me. That kind of an effect. Okay, now can you see my face is highlighted in the right place without making it look very evident? So it is good to go. Okay, and next mistake is about powdering. Okay, and if you are someone who is not taking care of the crease before powdering, then chances are there that your under eye is going to look patchy and creased after powdering. What I like to do is, like, I take my powder in a powder puff. Okay, so take it like this, keep it ready. Okay, and then you have to hold your makeup. Like, I use a powder brush for this. I use a foundation brush. So I have my powder puff ready here. So I'm going to take the foundation brush. I'm going to hold, always use a brush for this purpose because brushes will not move the foundation beneath. So hold it like this, go over like this. Okay, and check whether your creases are okay, like whether your under eye doesn't have any crease. And once the creases have gotten smoother, then apply your powder. Okay, and then leave the brush. Okay, now mistake number 16 is I have done in the past. Okay, so what I used to do, like I used to use banana powder to set my entire face, which is not intentional because I am always used to dusting powder all over my face. So whenever I take banana powder, because of the habitual reasons, I used to dust it all over my face too. It will look dimensionless because you have to highlight only certain areas and let the rest be it. Okay, so if you're going to highlight the entire face, it is going to look dimensionless. Like if you're not highlighting it also, it will look dimensionless. If you highlight the entire of it, it will look dimensionless even then. So those highlighting sort of products, especially banana powder and all, you have to apply it on certain areas where you want to highlight certain features of yours. Okay, this is something I have done in the past and I regret a lot. So these days I just use tinted powder, or when I'm using banana powder, I just use it on certain areas. That is more than enough. Okay, and let's move on to mistake number 17. Now there are people who bake, who swear by baking. Again, as I already mentioned, there are few techniques which few people swear by, and if it works for them, by all means. But I have seen a lot of people telling that they bake because they have oily skin, but they bake their under eyes. Now you bake your under eyes because you don't want your concealer to crease, and your under eyes doesn't have any oil glands to it or whatsoever. But if you have oily skin and if you want to bake because you need to delay the process of oiling, you should not bake your under eyes. You should bake the areas where you kind of tend to produce a lot of oil. Like in general, oil will be produced on these areas, so bake this area, like not under eyes. If your focus is to reduce the creasing of your under eye, bake here. If at all it works for you. It doesn't work for everyone, it doesn't work for me, so I don't bake. But if at all it works for you, like bake your under eyes to delay the process of creasing. Whereas if you want to delay the process of oil production, bake it here, because this is where your oil glands are doing its work the best. Okay, so bake here, and also you can bake on top of your nose. Few people bake their nose to make their nose contour look brighter. I'm not doing that here. I'm just baking these places so that my oil production will be delayed. Okay, so if at all your focus is also the same, bake these areas, not the under eyes. Now that our complexion is done, let's move on to those sculpting works. Okay, again, one of the mistakes I've seen many people doing is choosing a wrong shade of blush. Like when I say wrong shade of blush, blushes have to have the saturation that my skin actually demands. Now I am from a very deep skin type, so blushes like these are going to wash the hell out of my skin, and I don't want that. Okay, it is very light for my skin, so it is not going to work properly. Okay, so don't if at all the blush is looking very pink and nice and blushy from the pot, it may not look the same on my skin because it has got melanin to it. So it is going to look, I mean, there is no pigment that is showing up in the first place. If at all I'm building it up, it is going to look very ashy and washed out, which is not something that we are desiring for. Okay, so if you are from deep skin, now can you see it is like washing out. Okay, so if you are from deep skin, go in for products that are deeper, like the blush shades that are deeper. Okay, the reason why I'm saying this, a lot of people, they look at the pot color and they go for the blush, which should not be the case. Okay, this is a deeper pink and you can see how it is going to look. Like it is the perfect blush shade that I can actually go for. Okay, so if choose blush shades according to your skin. If you have fair skin, go for lighter shades. If you have deep skin, go for shades that are very deep and that looks gothic on the pan, because it is not going to translate the same. Purple blushes are going to look pink on deep skin, so yeah, go for blushes that are deeper in shade. And one more mistake that a lot of people do when it comes to blush shade selection is if you are doing a warm toned makeup, let's say for example if you are going to do a peach or a orange eyeshadow, if you use a pink blush, it will look very odd. Okay, it won't tie up the look. Okay, so you always have to choose a blush shade that will go well with your eyeshadow and also your lipstick. Okay, if at all I'm going in for a warmer look, I would go for a coral or a orangey or a burnt orangey sort of a blush. If at all I'm going in for a more neutral or a cool toned eye look and a lipstick, I would go for blushes that are pink in shade. Now, and let's go. Mistake number 19 is not rounding up the blush. Now we all know blushes are meant to be applied on cheeks and we only apply it on cheeks, but you have to round your blush ups so that it looks cohesive and nice and together. Okay, so what you have to do is apply it on the cheeks and blend it out nicely. Okay, diffuse it very well and take it near your temples and diffuse it. Okay, don't just keep it like a rounded here and done. You should not do that. Like, just diffuse it very beautifully. Okay, once you diffuse it, whatever is on your brush, take that and apply it on your nose and connect. So the saturation of the pigmentation here shouldn't be more than your cheeks. Your cheeks have to have highest amount of products. Your nose have to have small amount of product, but it should be like cohesive. There should be like a W formation or sorts so that the blush looks tied up. Okay, and not only here, take little bit of more brush, very little, and apply it over here and also on your chin. Okay, now you can go for a blinded blush look here, like the blush blindness, like applying too much of blush over here, but never apply too much of blush on your nose and on your forehead and chin, because it is going to look awkward. Okay, so there should be product on these areas, but it should not overboard these areas. Okay, there should be a balanced striken so that your makeup looks whole and well put together. Okay, the next mistake is more of a brush mistake. Okay, now I've seen people doing this mistake of choosing very big brush when it comes to blush application or bronzer application or whatever. You shouldn't be doing that. You should invest in brushes that are perfectly going to fit the place where you are going to apply certain product. Like say for example, I used blush with this blush and brush. When these two words come in the same sentence, it is very tedious. Okay, so I used this brush to apply my blush. Okay, so this perfectly fits the cheek. Okay, I'm going to give you an example here. So let's take this blending brush. Okay, this is to blend my transition. Now imagine I'm applying my inner corner highlight using this brush. Is it going to fit in here? The inner corner highlight is not going to be inner corner highlight anymore if I do it with this brush. It is going to be everywhere where it shouldn't be. Okay, so this particular brush is too big for this particular area. Now let's apply blush using this particular brush. Will it fit here? It is too small for the area here. Now you can understand the area that you are going to apply product. It should be compatible with the brush size. Okay, so when I'm applying my blush with a brush, I should have a brush that will fit the cheek area very well. Okay, otherwise we are going to like mess it up. When I'm applying a bronzer, I want to have a brush that will perfectly fit those areas. Okay, don't go in for bigger brushes like these and do something. Like you should avoid these steps so that your makeup doesn't look muddy. Now what will happen if you use those big brushes? When I use these small brushes, my product will stay in the place where I want it to be there. Okay, whereas if I use bigger brushes, that will go everywhere where I don't want it to be, and it will mix up with other products and it will make the entire makeup look very muddy. Okay, so that is not the vibe that we are going in for. So always make sure to use right brushes. Okay, I'm also working on a video, like a complete brush guide video for beginners and also for advanced people, so stay tuned for that. It is coming soon, maybe later also. Okay, mistake number 22 is for beginners, especially if you are a pro or an advanced makeup artist of sorts, going in the wrong order when it comes to your blush, bronzer and highlighter. Okay, so always start with your bronzer. Okay, place the bronzer and then go in for blush and then go in for your highlighter. Okay, so this is the right order. Like your blush should overlap the bronzer a bit and your highlighter should be completely on top of your blush. Okay, a bit over here also. If you are like going in reverse order, like say for example, if you are applying highlighter first and then going in for blush, it will also look good only, but then when you are practicing, you won't be able to see the proper flow of products. Okay, so when you're starting, just go in this order. Like once you kind of nail your makeup look, then you can of course play with it. Okay, personally, like I am like open to like doing it in different way. That's what I'm saying. Like when you're starting, just go in this order, but once you understand how the sculpting product placement should be, like how the highlighter should look, how the blush should look, how the bronzer should look, once you get an idea of it, it is very easy if you kind of go in reverse or do any other order. This is personally for beginners. Okay, mistake number 23. Now this is for people who has got facial hair. This is with highlighter. I'm also going to take the highlighting concealer in consideration here also. Like say for example, if you have a facial skin, you don't want it to get highlighted. I'm pretty sure you don't want it. So if you have facial skin, if you are not ready to remove it, and at the same time if you don't want your makeup to highlight those facial skin, this mistake you should never do is that putting your highlighting products on the areas where you have facial skin. Now this way of highlighting is very famous, like highlighting your cupid brow and your chin. These areas have a lot of facial hair. When you put highlighter on your cupid's brow, what it is going to do, it is going to highlight that area, and if you have facial hair on that area, your facial hair is also going to get highlighted. Like when you apply it on your cupid's brow, this area will also get dusted with highlighter, and then it is going to show up, like the hair is going to show up a lot. Here also the same thing will happen. So always make sure that you don't apply your highlighting products on the areas where you have facial hair if you don't want it to be emphasized. Okay, and let's go to mistake number 24, which is with our contour. Now this is something which a lot of Instagram influencers actually do. Like they kind of for the sake of the aesthetics of the video, what they do is they kind of draw 3 in their contour with their contour stick, and then they blend it out. No, you don't need that much of product. Okay, all you need is just little bit of product. Don't need a lot. I mean, a lot of people apply a lot of contour and bronzer, which actually is not needed. You just need little bit of contour. Okay, so I'm going to be using this particular bronzer. I personally place my bronzer in a way that it also contours my skin. So I'm going to be using a bronzer to showcase. Okay, just take bronzer and dust the excess always, and then place it on the area where you want your skin to be contoured or bronzed, and then blend it very well, and then take it to the area. Like if you are going to like follow this 3, that is completely unnecessary. You don't want it. Okay, just smoothen it out bit. It is again a lot of product to be used which you actually don't need. Okay, those 3s and all, just forget it. Okay, and one more contour mistake that I've seen when it comes to nose contouring is that I would call it a floating contour, because people kind of apply contour here and let it be. You should not do that. Always make sure that you apply your bronzer or contour on this area and connect it very well. Okay, if you don't connect with your eyebrow, it is going to look like your nose contour is floating somewhere, which is not a nice thing. Also round it below your nose, okay, so that it kind of look very cohesive. Okay, this is the reason why I like to do my base first than my eye look, because I can round it up like this and then I will go in with my eye look. Whereas if I do my eye look first, I cannot do this. My eye look will be spoiled. Okay. And mistake number 26 is using cream based products on top of powder based products. Guys, don't do this. It is going to separate and the finish is also not going to look nice. Okay, if you forgot to apply your cream blush, what you can do is you can apply your setting mist and then go in with cream based products. Okay, don't do it on freshly applied powdered face. Like now my face is powdered. If I am going to apply cream based products on top of it, it's going to ruin, like my makeup is going to break and get patchy, because the cream based products have wax and oil in it, like oily waxy substances to it. Like when I'm going to apply it on my powder will definitely move, because the density of the powder is less than liquids and waxes and creams. Okay, so always use your cream based products initially and then move in with powder. But if you kind of forgot, in some instance, sometimes we forget like that, if you did, just apply setting mist, and then once the setting mist gets dried up, apply your cream products. But make sure to do the cream first and then do the powders. But if at all, in some cases, if you have ever forgotten, then you can follow this. Okay, so the second last mistake, which is mistake number 27, is to scrunch your face while you're applying setting mist. Like I've seen people doing this and then apply setting mist. Don't do that, because your setting mist will not evenly coat your face. So always keep your face straight and then apply your setting mist. Okay, if you do this, do that, do this and all, your makeup will start to crease. Like mistake number 28 is holding your face setting mist very close and applying it. Spray this once in air and you have to watch the path in which the mist is going. Okay, now look at it. Always when the product is coming out of the nozzle, it is going to come concentrated. Okay, so if you keep it close, the product will apply very concentratedly on your skin. Okay, whereas if you hold it afar, the product will get dispersed. Okay, and you know, it will evenly coat your face. Now I will show you the difference. Okay, now I am holding it from afar. You can see how it has evenly coated my skin. Now when I am holding it very close like this, okay, what will happen is only one place will get heavily wetted by the setting mist. Okay, you don't want that. If at all this happens, your makeup will start breaking and it will turn patchy. And yeah, with that we have come to the end of this video. I hope you all found this useful and informative. Let me know whether you would love to see such kind of content in the future. Also let me know about your thoughts and opinions on this video and future video request or topic suggestion or anything in the comments. I will meet you all in my next video. Till then, take care. Bye.